Hello everybody and welcome to Empire of the Full Moon episode 16, the show where I talk about everything having to do with Charles Band and all of his work. Today we're going to be talking about Creepozoids from 1987. Of course, this one is an awesome alien ripoff, and I say like an alien ripoff because it's a group of people stranded in one spot with a big monster after them, and they do what they can to survive while learning certain things along the way. It stars the Scream Queen, Linnea Quigley. Sure. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the director, David DeCoteau, for a minute. Now, we've talked about DeCoteau on this show before, and we all know that he's one of Charles Band's favorite directors. I mean, he's done so many of his movies, and we'll talk about all that in a minute. But, so I was reading, again, Confessions of a Puppet Master by Charles Band and Adam Felber a little while back, and I read this story that was so hilarious that I thought it would be great to bring up on the show. So let's get into that. So let's go way back into the mid to late 90s when Mike was a younger man. And, I didn't really keep up with who directed what, in what year everything came out. In fact, to be honest with you, TV shows, I didn't know they came in seasons and episodes within that season. So it's like, you just kind of watch what you watch and you go for it. But there's a one point in that time that I could have sworn that there was this trend to, it just seemed to be a bunch of movies coming straight to video that had a ton of young dudes in their tighty-whities. And I remember thinking, why in the hell are these tighty-whitey kid movies coming out? Like, not kid, but, they're supposed to be in high school or whatever. And so I assume they're of age or whatever, but not that I was too worried. But God, I shouldn't have even gotten into that. Anyways, okay, so the other day, and I'm just kind of strolling through Full Moon streaming, I decided to turn on a movie called Talisman from 1998. And for those who don't know, this movie's about a boys' boarding school where a bunch of supernatural things start happening, and that's not really important, the plot or anything like that. What's important for this story is that Talisman is one of those tighty-whitey movies. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And it's 2025 now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I forgot about this. And I can't believe that my mind was getting like, why are we doing this in Voodoo Academy, I think, from 2000? Anyways, David DeCoteau is the director of Talisman, but he's also the director of some of my all-time favorite Full Moon features, like Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge from 1991, Witch House 1999, Beach Babes from Beyond from 1993, Dr. Alien from 1989, and let me just tell you that this was a big one for me growing up. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bolorama from 1988, Nightmare Sisters from 1988, the list goes on and on and on, right? And I just learned that this guy, not recently, but since then, I've learned that he is a gay director. And so, tighty-whities, I understand. But he also gave me a lot of the sweet, titty movies that I loved back in those days, right? Especially Dr. Alien, Nightmare Sisters. Oh my gosh. So he's like, this guy kicks ass. The funny thing is I even got tricked a few times into renting some of his horror flicks that he rented that were obviously for a gay audience, like House of Usher. And the Brotherhood series, The Pit and the Pendulum from 2009. And now that I'm looking at these covers, I'm not really sure what I didn't see. How did I not know these movies were? Did I not see them? Did I not see their covers? What was I missing here? Because it's pretty obvious who the intended audience is there. But God bless him. I love that he, as a homosexual man, made the skin flicks that appealed to guys like me. My younger self owes him a debt of gratitude. And I will always love his movies forever and ever. Anyways, I had a point here. Back to the tighty-whities. Okay, so basically, I read this anecdote that Charles Band shared in the book. One time, Charles was sitting there, and an editor who was editing some of DeCoteau's films came to him, and he was just kind of, very sheepishly, he was like, bro, I got to tell you something. And Charles Band was like, what? Spit it out. What do you got? He goes, dude, these movies are super gay. And he looked, and of course Charles Band's like, man, all of these movies with these tighty-whities, he's like, Dave, Charles Band goes to Dave and said, man, we got to stop this. And of course he's like, no, these are chicks. I'm offended. There's kind of a funny argument with that. But he was, I bet you it seemed like he was insulted because he was making softcore erotica for a straight audience. But it was kind of an insult to him that they would come up with that. Anyways, the funniest thing that he said is, and I will love David DeCoteau for this alone forever. He said, Charlie, you simply don't understand my untapped market. My tighty-whitey frighties are horror movies for girls. Were they for girls? I don't know. I felt a little weird watching them back in the old days. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, it had some boobies in them and stuff like that. But I just feel so vindicated that it wasn't just a dream, that there was a series of tighty-whitey frighties, that was something that he actually coined a term for, tighty-whitey frighties. Well, thank goodness. I watched Talisman. I still liked it. Yes, it was a tighty-whitey frighty. But I got to tell you, it was so funny. And it was a part of my life that I completely forgot about, right? And it's like, okay, this, like I said, this reminds me and it vindicates me. So anyway, so enough about that. I love it. It's hilarious. David DeCoteau is a great director, and I will always love all of his movies. Maybe not all of his movies, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, why don't we get into the movie Creepozoids? Here is a trailer.
A desperate band of nuclear survivors stumble upon shelter where they seek protection from deadly radioactive rain.
But the stuffers upstairs blew up from the radiation. We got it made here.
But their dreams of safety turn into a nightmare of horror when they are confronted by the Creepozoids. Creepozoids. Even if you kill them, they're still deadly. Creepozoids.
All right, Creepozoids, 1987. IMDb has this right now at a 4.1 with about 3.2K ratings. Like I said, directed by David DeCoteau, written by David DeCoteau, and a guy named David Eisenstark. It stars Linnea Quigley as Blanca, the Scream Queen Linnea Quigley. Richard S. Hawkins as Jake, and Ashley Gere credited as Kim McCamey as Kate. She was actually a pornographic film actress, obviously by the pick I chose, right? But we all know, it's funny because, I've talked about some of these newer movies where Charles Band will get a porno actress in there, and they'll do all the naughty stuff in the movie. But this movie did not do that. They actually gave Ashley Gere, or Kate's character, like, it's just a normal, like, she's a headstrong, smart survivor in this, and no nudity, not even a love interest in this. But no, I think she did a great job, and she has done some stuff in the kind of the regular film market, been in some X-Files stuff like that. But yeah, I never would have guessed that she was a porn star without having looking it up. Anyways, let's get into the plot, shall we? Creepozoids is set in a far-off post-apocalyptic future of 1998. The same time I was watching the Tidy Whitey Fridays. Anyways, the land is desolate and the rain is acid. We follow a group of soldiers who have deserted World War III, who find and seek refuge in what appears to be an abandoned research facility. In the beginning, everything was awesome, great food, water, hot showers, something that they haven't experienced in quite a while. They start to go through some of the documentation on the computer, kind of the logs and the diaries of some of the people left there. And it turns out that there's a couple of sketchy things that they start finding. It turns out that there was some genetic research going on and a lot of experiments going on involving biological warfare, and something horrific has been left behind. As they explore, they encounter grotesque mutant creatures, including a monstrous flesh-eating humanoid. And something that you will never, ever guess, except for they kind of show it in the trailer, so you've already seen it. But they're trapped inside. They find out that the complex they're in isn't meant to keep people out. It's meant to keep people in. You know how that goes. Anyways, with limited supplies, the group fights to survive against these deadly threats while uncovering the sinister truth behind the experiments. What experiments were happening? Will the people survive the wrath of Bug Bebop and the Baby? Has there been more ROUSs in a movie since The Princess Bride? Find out by watching Creepozoids from 1987. Now, so this one, obviously, Charles Band, it's a low-budget thing, around $150K, shot in 15 days. But it was shot on 35mm film, and that gives it a lot of credibility. And I don't know if I brought this up lately, but there is something that for every movie that Charles Band does, there's something that gives it a little bit of that extra credibility over some of its contemporaries. And I feel like the look and feel of this one was great. It got a lot of hate though. On the one hand, yes, I mean, there's some parts in this movie where it drags a little bit. It's a short movie too, an hour and 12 minutes. I mean, last time we talked about Bring Her to Me, which is 56 minutes. But the complaints I've read from people are totally valid. And, you know, maybe it drags a little bit. And the thing is if you're not a B-movie aficionado and you don't understand that there's kind of not a lens, but kind of a mindset that you have to have as you watch these, you know, it's going to be tough on you. But I enjoyed the heck out of it. Here's why. I got 5 reasons why I loved this movie. Number 1, you can never get enough of Linnea in the shower, even if it's a short time. Yeah, but it's there. And once you see her, you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's not like she's trash dancing on the headstone for a long time, but this is good enough for this. Number 2, the tech from the apocalypse in the future is amazing. Like, I love future technology as it's described in the 80s and 90s. You know, tons of flashing lights, loud old hard drive noises, text-based interfaces as they're going along on the computer. I saw a couple of 5.25-inch discs, which had, I think, about 1.2 megs of memory. And just, I mean, that is, by today's standard, that won't even hold an MP3. So, I mean, it's crazy how, I mean, listen, I'm an older guy. When I was going to school for my computer science degree, it's like I didn't use these ones, but I used the 3.5-inch, which I think, if I remember right, I think they're 5 megs, which is still tiny. But, and by the way, if you haven't seen Evil Speak, that's my all-time favorite movie that uses old tech and graphics. That one's from 1981. If you haven't seen it, do it now. Number 4, like I said, it was filmed on 35mm, so it looks great. Maybe the shot selection's not wonderful, but I think it makes it look a little bit better than the budget would make you think. But number 5, the monsters are exquisite. Now, what do I mean by exquisite? Well, there's totally a guy in a rubber suit type movie. I mean, he's running around, he's got like these clompers doing this, and he's picking people up, and he's so big and strong. But at the end, you know, and they fight him, that's the alien thing. But at the end, we get a bonus monster that made me so happy to see. It's come, I mean, I don't even want to spoil it. Like I said, you already saw what it was in the trailer, but I think they had to give a little bit more than they wanted to, just because of, it's an exploitation movie, and people want to see what the cool shit they're going to see in it. But anyways, this movie had tons of slime. You can get a dude melting. There's this fight between the bonus monster and a dude where he's grabbing it to its neck and struggling. So he's like this, like running around. And, oh my gosh, I was hooting and hollering. And I don't hoot and holler typically because I don't really exactly know what that is. But I feel a little bit embarrassed now that I actually said that. But anyways, I thought it was great. It was so much fun. I'm not sure that everything that I was laughing at was meant to be funny. But like I said, we're all used to this. If we're watching full moon features, and we have been for a long time, we're all used to this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, I think that everybody's heart was in this, so it's not like they were trying to make a silly movie. They were trying to make a good B movie. But, oh man, I think this is kind of one of my favorite type of movies. It's not deep. It's, you know, like I said, it's an alien ripoff. But it is fun. And you know what, to be honest with you, I'm kind of a stalwart when it comes to finding something to enjoy in almost every movie. I mean, the only thing I can't stand, I think this goes for a lot of people too, is I can't stand boring movies. I mean, this has some slow parts, but definitely it's entertaining, especially in the end when the craziness ensues. If you're a cult, low-budget B-movie guy or gal, I have to think you'll like this one. And so, yeah, check it out. I watched it on the Full Moon streaming site. I got the Blu-ray around here somewhere. One of my favorites, been for a long time. It's not amazing, but it's good enough to make me laugh and love it very much. Anyways, That's all I got for today. Go ahead and subscribe, if you will, to this YouTube channel or wherever you're watching it. Please do. Check out thecorpsecollective.com. Got a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of links there. I just started up a TikTok. Well, me and my wife, Betty Cadaver, started that. So she's prettier than me, so you'll see her more in that than I will. Anyways, again, appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you guys later.